Hey, this is Jason Cass, back once again, 2 weeks later with The Grow Show, starring Jason, that's me, and also starring Joey, and that's him.
How's it
And,
going?
well, sorry, cut you off a little too soon. Say hi, Joey.
How's it going? Welcome, Jason. It's hard to get a word in edgewise, but I do my best.
Yeah, that's right. I even asked him if he wanted to start the show, and he said, no, me. And now all of a sudden I'm the one talking too much. What's up with that, guys? Hey, appreciate everybody out there listening and everybody watching. Keep in mind that sometimes I'll kind of speak like maybe past tense or future tense because we do have people that are going to be listening to this at a later time on the Grow Show through the Agents Influence podcast. So if you're listening it through the podcast, welcome to the Grow Show. You can always go to our Grow Program YouTube channel and see Joey and I are live. If you're listening to the podcast, you're a little too late for the live, but keep
Live
in
and in
mind
color. Live and in color.
live and in color, and we do it on the second and the fourth Wednesday every month at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. So keep in mind if
1
you're
p.m.
listening.
Eastern for the rest of the world.
What is it?
I said 1 p.m. Eastern for the rest of the real world.
Yeah, rest of the real world. People always want to joke about us, and there was an article I just read. Actually, it was in the Wall Street. No, it was in New York Times. New York Times, and I was reading an article about an article that was put in there in the New York Street Times about Mayor Francis Slay, who is the mayor of St. Louis. And he wrote it to the rest of America saying that I know you consider us just as a flyover city, but we're actually a baseball city. And then everybody in LA started getting mad at us, and we ended up being a baseball city. You know what I'm talking about? And I got a couple listeners that I know that are huge Dodger fans. So sorry about that, man. We can be friends again here pretty soon. But in the meantime, this is the Grow Show starring Jason and Joey. And what we do is we take a topic out of the insurance inbound marketing community. If you are not a member or a community member of the insurance inbound marketing community, please find us on Google+. It's in the communities. And you can ask to be permission because not everybody gets to be permission. And me, Joey, or Ryan Hanley might be nice enough to allow you in. No, actually, it doesn't have anything to do with Joey and I. We're moderators, but it's up to Ryan Hanley. But we're going to be taking a question out of there. And so before we do, I want to kind of turn it over to Joey just to see if he has anything extra to say before we start getting right into that topic.
I have nothing extra to say, no fluff today. We're going to get right into it. This is a topic that both you and I said that we aren't really going to be able to speak about from tons of experience. So we'll see what we can do. We got a lot of thoughts, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. No,
you're exactly right. You are exactly right, Joey. I think that I know something about this. Joey thinks he knows a little bit about it, but I think that the things we may discuss today were not some of the things we've probably been discussing in the past, and definitely some of the stuff that'll probably be changing in the future per some of the comments of this post put out there. So the post is by Josh Lipstone, which if you don't know Josh, he's a fantastic guy. It's another reason why you need to be a part of the community. He's very, very involved in the insurance industry. I really didn't know much about Josh until probably about 8 or 9 months ago. And now I have to honestly say, and I say this 100% with the truth, he is one of the most active people that we have in the community. I mean, would you not agree with me, Joey, when I say that?
Yeah, he's all over the place now. I honestly, I mean, for me, I just came across him, I guess I'd say in the last couple months. So yeah, but he's been pretty active, and appreciate the effort and the enthusiasm and the engagement. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of agents out there like Josh. So if you feel or if it sounds like, you sound like what I'm describing of Josh, no, that's fine because Josh just happens to have one thing that's different than a lot of agents. We all have these questions. We all have these concerns. We all want to know the answers to these things. Sometimes, though, we hang out in communities or we listen to the Grow Show or Agents Influence or whatever, and we don't speak our mind. We're just there to listen, and that's really, really great. But I will tell you, Josh is one of those people who steps up all the time and is asking a question, and we do appreciate that, Josh, because by us being able to help you, you can help us, and in return, we can move this industry forward, and that's what all this stuff is all about. So we'll get right on to his post that he posted inside of the community. And here's what it says. It says, how do you ask for reviews, testimonials from your clients? I'm trying to increase the number of reviews on Google and Yelp. In the past, I've asked the person over the phone or in person to write one at their leisure, which has usually yielded low results. You've probably all had roughly the same experience. He continues on to say, I've decided to send out an email with links to both the Google and Yelp for them to write it, and I'm trying to decide if I want to include in the email a sentence stating that, quote, this is an optional thing to do. But I do feel that if I do this rather than giving them permission not to do it, I'm leaning towards not including something like that. I apologize, my monitor's probably about 5 feet away from me, so I'm trying to read that. I think that's a common question. I think that, and I think Joey would be lying if we didn't think that our absolute self as well. But I will tell you that the end to this answer, there's going to be a lot of routes, but you're going to find out that just by asking, you're going to find at the end, just by asking, whether which way you want to do it, you may get better results, but just by asking, you are going to get some testimonials and reviews. He says he didn't in the past, but maybe we can explore some of those. Right before I turn it over to Joey to get his thought on this, I do know that Josh and some other people are watching. Actually, we have a couple viewers. And so, Josh, please be sure to jump in, and we'll be checking over on the other side to watch your comments and your feedback to see if we're answering your questions and if there's anything you want to add to it. We also open that up to anybody else. This is a live show, so feel free to ask your questions. Joey, initially on the post, what are some of your thoughts about what he's saying?
I think we're just horrifically bad at having any type of system in place. And I think like what you said, we're going to say a lot of different things, and we're going to get to the same place. And it's all based around setting up a system and finding what works. Now, there's tons of comments on that post, and they all kind of said the same thing but differently. You got to work on whatever approach you got to take. You got to do it, and you need to just test it and keep using it, and trust that system, whatever it ends up being, whatever works best for you. It's something that I will, say I'm horrifically bad at. That is one of the top things on my list to kind of systematize and get something in place that we are not currently doing. I've got ideas that, I want to implement how to do it. But I think you're right. Just the idea that the mindset you have to ask. We're not saying how, whether it's email, in person, over the phone, handwritten note, whatever, in a video. It doesn't matter. However you ask, you have to ask, and it's going to take some practice. You're not going to be good at it right away.
Okay, let me ask you this then, Joey, because I want to start first with this, because this is Joey's thought when Joey and I were discussing this before the show. What would be the difference? But is there a difference between a review or a testimonial?
Oh, so you're setting me up. I thought you were just going to steal it. You could have stole the line, but.
Well, I got enough good stuff of my own. I want you to say. People need to know how awesome you are, Joey.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Well, awesomeness aside, we'll save that discussion for another day. But reviews are reviews. You're going to get them. You're going to get them good or bad, and you shouldn't shy away from the bad ones. A few bad ones are only going to make you look more authentic, if you will. Not everyone's going to have a great experience, but the testimonials are your good reviews. Is just kind of how I said it, and you're just going to pull those reviews that are that you want to highlight. And it's not cherry picking. It's not polishing up something that isn't good anyways. It's just the natural ones that come out that say what you want to be said about your agency, and those are the ones that you're going to highlight.
I absolutely agree, and I got to tell you, because I don't try to say anything that I don't know as much as I can't. But Joey had brought that to light to me, is that I kind of saw testimonials and reviews as the same thing, but it makes sense. Everybody can get reviews, but it's the testimonials that are the great ones out of there. And so I think that was a really, really good point. And obviously at the end, the name of this show is Reviews, Testimonials, and Referrals, because I think at the end that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to lead to the referrals. On the comments, I want to let you know, Matt Marco, I always want to call him Matt Marco. Matt Marco is he used to be with Progressive, and actually he still is with Progressive. I apologize, but he came in with.
He's at Progressive headquarters now in Ohio, up in my neck of the woods.
Yes. Yes, Matt is moving up, and if you don't know Matt, be sure to circle him in on Google+, because he's a fantastic resource. We get a lot of companies that are really engaged in our communities and with agents. Progressive does an awesome job at a lot of things they do, but I don't even think they realize the jewel that they actually have in Matt. But here's what Matt continues on to answer Josh's question, because that's what we do inside the Insurance Inbound Marketing community. We're there to share and help get answers to questions in posts like Josh. He says, take a look at creating an easy process around it with write it down if you want to, get5stars.com. That's get5stars.com. He says he thinks they're doing it the right way. Obviously, with the company he works for being as digital and aggressive as they are online and trying to help you build your local presence, Progressive does a pretty good job at that. They try to give you every tool they can. I take his word. I have to say, I did not go out there and look at it, but I am going to look at it and look at it for my own agency because some of the other talks that were going on. One of the things that Matt, Josh comes back and says hi, and there's some comments, but then Matt comes back in and he says he worked with them from the carrier side for a while. The guys behind it, Mike Blumenthal and Don Campbell, both knew what they were doing and are actual experts in local. So I thought that was really really good. And they'll also help you with some other stuff out there that could have to do with it. But sir, first of all, that's the benefit of the community is he's getting that answer. He's getting it from a reputable person who already deals and works with these people. So that's one of the benefits of the community. Have you looked at the 5-star or anything? Did you get a chance to look at that, Joey?
No. Terrible host moment. No, I did not.
No. It's a terrible host moment on my part as well because I didn't. We're also never here so Joey and I do not make money from promoting somebody or this over that. We just want you to have purely just the best information out there. So I do want you to look at the Get 5 Stars because I've also heard other agents talk about it. I can't remember, Joey, if it was Brent Kelly or Carrie or there was somebody that was just telling me about them like 2 weeks ago. So I want you to look at it. But the point is that even another comment that was even made in there was even with by Brian Appleton. He is kind of an email guy. I've known Brian for a long time, and he is really good at emails. And he was talking about some of the things that this copy, he says, because the headlines to getting people to know that to open it is important, using some of the wording and some of the content inside it to make sure that they take the action that you want is also very, very important. I'm going to speak personally from my side. I just do everything I can to ask for them. Now, I have to say, where do I ask for them? I've got two places that I usually ask for my reviews. I ask for them in Facebook, okay, and I have a plethora of reviews there. And if for any of you that go and look, I would appreciate it if you'd leave me a review. See, I'm already doing it. No, there's a side note of why I want you to leave me a review on Facebook. You actually can help Jason out really big time. I'll talk about that in a minute. But the other side is on Google reviews. I think Google reviews are huge as well. Josh alludes to Yelp reviews, which I think are always a plus. But that also depends on.
You think they're a plus though? I'm gonna jump in there. You think Yelp is a plus?
I say it can't hurt.
I feel like I feel like it's a waste of time because honestly, when do you look? I mean, I don't know. I use Yelp for food, and that's like it. Maybe I just don't use Yelp. Maybe that's my personal downfall of being an internet user. But I feel like if I want a review, I want it on Google or I want it on Facebook. That's kind of where I would prefer them to be.
I actually am going to agree with you 100%, but I also do know that from doing this with a lot of agents across America and handling their social media and digital marketing, things that work in North Carolina don't work in Iowa and all this other stuff. So whether maybe in North Carolina, this is actually a very good question you just posed here, Joey. Let's make sure we're getting the reviews to the source that's going to be seen. So maybe if you're listening and you would maybe want to chime in and tell us why you chose Yelp, that would be an awesome thought because it's not a bad thought. It's just why did you choose that? In my opinion, I'm like Joey, Google Plus and Facebook would be my reviews. So Joey, as I continue on here, if you could check over and make sure see if Josh says anything. But I think Google reviews are just as important. I think that Facebook and Google reviews, I'm not going to say one's better than the other.
I will.
I'm gonna kind of say that Google Plus.
Well, think about it from this standpoint.
Go ahead.
Everybody searches in Google. Now everybody has Facebook, but the fact that are they going to your agency page? I would say that's probably second, third down the list. everybody's going to search for you in Google first. That's where I mean, if I'm getting a review, I want it on Google first, then Facebook, my opinion.
Okay. Okay. So this is a very, Joey, we just have opened up a can of great discussion worms. Okay. Because here's the thing, what Joey just said is the right. If they're searching for you, want to be on Google, first of all, today, because I think that we all sit around and say, oh, there's no way anybody can ever take over Google. They're so big. I think Facebook could flip a switch and take them over in search in a minute, because the results that are inside of Facebook are real results. They're not black-hatted techniques by good SEO people to make them seem like their product is the best. If you go on Google and you ask what's the best daycare in Centralia, Illinois, or you go on to my friends on Facebook and I say what's the best daycare in Centralia, Illinois, I'm going to get real results from Facebook, not necessarily the best results from Google. With that said, I think if people are searching for you, they don't go to Facebook like Joey's saying and say, hey, where's the best daycare? What they do is they go to Google. So yes, Google is going to give you preferential treatment over and above if you've got the reviews. So I am going to agree with Joey today, not in the future, but I'm going to agree with Joey today and say that I would think that the Google reviews would be the best. How do I get Google reviews? I've really never asked for a Google review. I think I have 3 or 4 of them, and I just got those in probably the last couple months. And how I do it is I use a tool called Rocket Referral. And Rocket Referral, once again, not here to try and sell another product, but what I am just telling you is Rocket Fuel is something that we ask for, so it automates my referral and follow-up process, where it sends out the referrals or these surveys, these testimonial requests, and it will ask for these testimonial requests. True story. I sent my very first time I had Rocket Referrals, I loaded in all my stuff because it integrates with my management system, and it pulled out all the emails and everything, and I selected the emails. There was about 100 emails that I sent out to people asking for testimonials. 24 hours later, I had over 21 testimonials. 24 hours later. That's how powerful Rocket Referrals can be. I think I've built up to around 30 or 40 of them now. And what happens is at the end of the testimonial it says, would you like to allow us to use this on Google Plus or Facebook? And boom, boom, they usually hit yes. And now it does not, due to the API, it doesn't automatically put it on my Facebook reviews, but it will automatically, due to the API of Rocket Referral, put it onto my Google Plus reviews.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. That's
so
great.
Those are real things. So that's how I do it. Joey?
That's impressive. I like that. I like the automatic to Google Plus right from the Rocket Referrals. That's good stuff.
Yeah, and it is good stuff, because I got to tell you what, I was doing some stuff. I was checking out some rankings on my website. I happened to go, and over there on the right side it said I had 3 or 4 Google reviews. I can't remember, and I was like, oh my gosh, who gave me those? And then I went and looked at them, and I was able to lead it right back to my Rocket Referrals. So I think that is very, very vital. One of the reasons why I sometimes think that Facebook could be a more powerful review, now, this isn't set in stone, but a lot of people are on Facebook more than Google+. That's just the way it is. Not saying one's better than the other. But,
well, here, you're handicapping the review because you're calling it Google+, but I feel like it's more of a Google search review than it is a Google+ review.
I am using the wrong...
Stop sandbagging me over there, Mr. Cass.
I am using the wrong terminology. I do apologize about that. So, I apologize. I keep running. I am having an allergy or something. My nose is itching. So what I would say is, rather than the Google review or the Facebook review, I believe Facebook reviews, number one, a lot of people hang out there more. Okay, just the other way, just a simple math today, and keep in mind it's October 8th of 2014. You could be listening to us a year or two from now. It could be completely different. But here's the thing I like about it. Because so many people are on Facebook, it's not the fact that it's because other people see it. It's the fact that when they leave the review, it leaves a picture and a link to that person, which gives what we call social proof. Social proof is important because anybody, you've probably been on Verizon or AT&T and you're reading all their reviews or whatever website, and you're thinking to yourself, is this even a real person? Well, that is the beauty of using sometimes Facebook. Now, Google does the same thing, but not everybody's on Google. So our Google is not on the Google reviews, or is not able to. Google's not actually to capture who they are as a person and with a picture and their profile. So sometimes it's a little bit more social proof on the Facebook than the Google review side. Joey, do you agree with me or disagree with me on that?
No, that's I'm completely with you on that, and I think what we forget, and this is I think the holistic view of this process, we need to consider the discovery life cycle of somebody coming into our awareness of the business, and like we said, it starts at Google, so that's where you want a heavily fortified front line, if you will. But they're eventually going to, if they use any social tools, it's probably Facebook. They're going to get to your Facebook page, I would imagine, at some point. And that's, you just want to continue to, it's just like, consider them walking, along this little path, and you want to have these spots for them to keep continuing to push them in your direction. And Facebook, like you said, it's going to validate who those people are a lot more than the person that's reviewing you on Google. But if the first step is, you're going to show up in the search results in Google, and if you have a company that has 25 reviews versus a company that has 0 or 2, they're going to check out the 25 review first, so they're going to go there first, and then from there they're going to check out your blog, watch your latest video, then they might come over to your Facebook page and see what's happening over there. Okay, they've got 250 likes and 17 reviews, and these are real people. Oh, I know that guy. Then that's kind of the process that they're going to go through, and that's what I think you need to consider and map out, is how are they going to get from that first step to when they know who you are, and continue to move down that funnel to where they're picking up the phone, sending the email, completing that form, that action.
Right. So see, understand, as he's even kind of Joey's saying, it's actually kind of a two-part process, because if you've got somebody out there who is just if you've got somebody out there who's actually looking for insurance, and that's where they're going to go, is Google majority of the time today. Boom, plus and benefit to have a Google review. A lot of times, though, people just don't go search for insurance. A lot of times they I don't know how exactly they do it all the time. They may go online to get a quote or whatever. But if someone's saying, "Hey, I want insurance," the benefit of Facebook over Google, and that is, Google is, "Hey, it's now. I need it. It's immediate. Boom. Here I am. Here's my reviews." Facebook is kind of, "Oh yeah, I'm just going through my news feed. It's 8:30 at night. I'm watching Desperate Housewives or whatever we're watching, and I happen to see an ad pop up from Lipstone Insurance Agency, and I click on it just to see it, and boom, there's the reviews. And, oh, wow, okay, good." So they just solidified to me. Now, if my friend tells me 4 days later there's something about Lipstone, now I'm like, okay, well, hey, I was just on Facebook, I saw their ad, and I looked at the reviews, and that was fine. So that's kind of more of a casual thing, to where that's the difference between social and digital marketing. Social media is being first in the mind of the consumer when they have a problem and need a solution to that problem, first in mind. Digital marketing is being found first in search when they have a problem and need a solution to that problem. And that's digital. So it kind of goes back, I'm starting to see here, Joey, tell me if I'm wrong, I'm starting to see that separation here, as to where one could be more beneficial if someone's right now urgent need, as opposed to the more casual, hey, when it comes about and I just roll upon you, you need to have reviews. So at that time when I may not be looking, I need to assess for future use if you'd be the agency for me. Got any thoughts on that, Joey?
Yeah, I mean, I think just like the 24-hour sports and news networks, we need something to talk about, and we're going to try and tell you one is better than the other, but ultimately they're going to work hand in hand, and they're going to serve different purposes. And we're going to sit here and to keep you watching to do our show, we're going to say, oh yeah, Google's better, Facebook's better under these circumstances. But ultimately, I think they are going to just work off of each other ultimately, and you're going to want those in place. And like you said, I think I never really thought about that way. You're more into the mindset of Facebook than I could ever be. But yeah, I think if somebody was just casually scrolling their feed at night, like you said, then that might be a scenario where having that proof there, it might help that process along.
Yeah, yeah. And really, Joey, I really had never really put a lot of thought into it either until these discussions, hence why these are always great things, is it's even got my mind thinking on the different avenues of it. Because I think right now, if you're not a big geek in this like me and Joey and some other people, you don't realize it. But there is an internal war going on between the Facebook users who use it for marketing and the Google Plus users who use it for marketing. And we could act like it's not there, but it's there. I mean, there's this hatred of, oh, one's better than the other. I think they're both just as good. I mean, when it comes down to it, you will find very few people that will say that. You will either have your Facebook lovers or you have your Google Plus or your Google users. But I think they both serve their purpose for what we're talking about here. It's important to be in both spots. Even if someone does decide to say, hey, you know, if someone sees somebody at a game and says, hey, yeah, those guys are really great insurance agents, you guys should go talk to them, the first thing that person's more than likely going to do when they get back is go get on Google and search that person out. So one was heard here by word of mouth or maybe through Facebook, but they do still go to Google to check that person out to have that social proof. So I think that's important. Let me roll on real quick over here to what Josh has been saying. He said it was a great point, Joey, that he never thought about the difference between being a review and a testimonial. And
I was gonna mention that. Fire him as the host, I swear.
Okay. And he says that he only includes Yelp because he has a couple of reviews on there and ended up with a fake negative review. So I was trying to bury it. Fortunately, Yelp removed it. All right. Let's stop right there, Joey, because I got something for you guys that's just going to, I mean, it's, you know, if you guys want to help me out or if you want to help Josh out, we're kind of in the same boat on this negative review thing, okay? So I'm going to get to the end. I had a post on February 13th of 2013 that went viral. I remember it because it's burned into my mind because, first of all, it's the first post I've ever had in my life that went viral. Over 7.7 million views of it. Okay, it was huge. And it's still on my Facebook page today, February 13th, 2013. If you want to go to JDC Insurance Group's Facebook page, still on there. I don't know, 40-some thousand shares, 500 and some thousand comments. It was ridiculous. It was the worst thing you could ever have happen to your Facebook page ever. Do not want because these people out there, they think that you're like some kind of scammer. They think you're some kind of slime. These people would get on there, and I mean, I made this simple post. It had to do with a question asking about Valentine's Day, but it was a little trivial, so you had to kind of think about it a little bit. And all these people started answering all these questions, and these comments started coming. Literally, guys, in the first, I would say, hour to 2 hours of me posting it, I had over 4,000 to 5,000 comments. It was going so fast, it was out of control. Matter of fact, it got to the point after a couple hours that I would try to type the answer to the question in the post just to stop all of this, and by the time I would type it and hit enter, I was already like 100 and some comments up. That's how fast this was taking over my Facebook page. And so when this happened, all these people started yelling at me, trying to say that I was stealing that how did I get on their Facebook page? I'm only on there because I'm trying to steal their emails, and all these people started cussing at me and everything. I literally had to, don't let this scare you, because this is proof that this kind of stuff can happen and you can still get business off Facebook every day, because I do. But what happened was I literally had to shut down my Facebook page, Joey. I literally had to, what I first did is they started commenting like just bad stuff to me. They'd start sending me messages like, you bleep, 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 bleep. I'm like, holy cow, what in the world? So I would shut off my messages to where no one could message me. Well, then they started going over into all the comments of the posts around the posts that I was doing, because what I did is I temporarily disabled the post. Then they would start going around all the comments, and they would start just filling out, this guy is a blah, 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 he's trying to steal our information. And I'm like, where do they read this stuff from? I mean, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, a lot of the stuff they're accusing me of, I'm thinking, how do I even do that? You know, how do I steal your email addresses by posting to your page, you know? And it got so bad that they started going to the very last spot that I didn't know they could go to. I didn't think about it, and it was the review column. So if you go to jdcins.com, I have nothing to hide. I'm completely transparent out in the open. And you go to my review box and you scroll all the way down. I've done the best I can to just get people to give me reviews, to bury them, just like Josh is trying to do with Yelp. If you go all the way to the bottom, there are some very nasty, rude comments of people. You'll notice they all came within the same 3 or 4 days, the 13th, 14th, 15th, or 16th of February back in 2013. So what can you do about that? Well, Yelp's probably not going to help you out. I don't know, because Facebook is not. I have personally contacted them. I do a lot of advertising with them, so I have an 800 number to an advertising rep. They've tried to do things. They can't seem to figure it out, or they can. But one thing they told me to do is there's 2 things you can do. You can, first of all, have people go bury it, as Josh said. So if you get bad reviews, you want other people to bury it. first of all, if they're legit bad reviews, well, then that's an internal problem. Yeah, they should try to hide it. But what I've in my situation, and believe me, we all probably have clients who are off the handle or this type of stuff happens, because it's the #1 concern I get out there, Joey, when I'm speaking is, what if I get a bad review? Well, if it's a bad review and it's just a bad review, you're up poop creek. Okay.
Can I jump in here real quick? Or no, you don't look happy.
No, I am happy.
Well, I mean, this whole I just want to address the if I get a bad review. Because that I can't quite wrap my brain around the person who is afraid of that. I mean, now this might be me growing up in an age where most of my life has been connected online in some fashion. But, I mean, one, if you're afraid, then that tells me that you're probably afraid you're not doing your job, at least to the point where somebody might say something bad about you.
Great.
And that drives me nuts, because if you are afraid, I mean, then what are you doing in business? And that's the first thing that I would address before even worrying about getting a review, because if you're afraid of that, then chances are you're so far from getting a good review that it's not even funny, would be my kind of guess on that.
That's a good way to come back with that. No, that is. And universally, I think that speaks true 99% of the time. I'm talking about the scenario where, it kind of blew up on me. Now, the thing that you do get, if you get a vulgar one, you're always going to want to delete it. You're like, well, what if this person got on there and just started cussing me out?
Yeah, I mean, if their language isn't appropriate, I mean, that's a whole different thing. But, I mean, if, it's an honest to God, listen, they just didn't have a good experience. You are not going to please everybody that does business with you, and that is a fact. And trying to hide it or bury it, I think, only goes to lead me to, if I was consumer X, say, well, if they're trying to hide this, then what else are they going to hide from me?
Correct. I guess I should have stipulated that at the beginning, because my situation was a little unique. But one of the things that I want you to know, if you get bad reviews that are vulgar or they are outside of the lines, it's one of the bad parts. It's one of the good parts, but the bad parts, Facebook won't let you delete it off there. So what you have to do is you have to get other people to list it and to submit it as being rude, and I can't remember the words right now, vulgar or
derogatory.
Derogatory. There's another word that Facebook uses, but anyways,
offensive.
you can offensive is one of them. You can click it and it will send the feed back to Facebook, letting them know. Facebook says if they get enough of those showing that it's derogatory, there we go, that was what it was, that it was derogatory, that they will remove it. I have had some of mine removed. They haven't. For me, I just buried them. So that was one of the things that we've always done. I do have 4 or 5 reviews on there that are only 2 or 3 or 4 stars, and those are from true clients. And we're not burying those. And one lady was because I had a contest, and she says that I didn't give her a quote in a fast enough time. And to be honest with you, we never even gave her a quote at all. But according to her, that. But if you go out to my reviews, you will see that I answered those reviews. And even though they're the bad ones, you reach out to them and you ask them about the review and say, why did we get that? And I would like to be able to carry on a conversation. Here's my email, here's my phone number, or message me somewhere else other than here so that I can fix this. Joey?
I want to put this disclaimer out here too, because it seems like in my limited experience in the industry and talking with different people about bringing their business online, this is not under any circumstances an excuse or reason for you not to continue to put your business out online. It is not a concern. It's not something that should be, because I can hear people listening to this and say, well, forget it. I'm not going to bother. And this is not even something that is close to being even on the map of something that you should be worrying about.
It isn't. As I talk to more agents across there, Joey, one of the things I'm starting to find out is that there's these different factors that are going to determine the success of the agent in the industry, the insurance industry of the agents, okay, the agents in the insurance industry. One of them's age, one of them's not wanting to get digital and social, one of them's thinking that it's ridiculous to even do any marketing. It's not so much, they say that 50% of the agencies will be gone, or agents will be gone, and first of all, we've been saying 10 years now for 4 years, so it's about 6 really, but anywhere about 6 to 10 years, you're going to have 50% of the agents gone due to age. But I think that first of all, not all of them are going to retire at 65 or 70. We know that. So we're not going to lose 50%. But I think we're going to lose 50% because of other factors that I talked about, not wanting to adapt to the change and all that. One of the things being is what we're talking about right here, Joey. Well, not throwing up your hand and saying, that's why I'm not getting online, because those reviews. Well, that is a huge downfall, because those reviews are going to be used in ways you have never even thought of, okay? Never even contemplated today. And I'll give you a couple of those, but I want you to know that your review is huge because it gives you social proof. Number two, understand that if they're going to give you a review negatively online, that review is still going on somewhere. It's just thank God that you're now allowed to address it because it's something you know, as opposed to it being said something at the chamber event and no one said anything to you about it, but yet there's 10 people talking bad about you. You're not able to address it. Here you can online, okay? That's a huge thing. But let me tell you why reviews and testimonials are number one, the most important thing you can do online. Joey, do you have any idea why I think that?
I don't. I try to think what you think sometimes, and it just doesn't work out for me, so I'm going to let you take this one.
Good luck. Nothing will be more important in the future. Please stop, listen. If you're driving down the road, if you're watching this, please understand that I am so passionate about this. I'm building a presentation. It's going to take me about a year on this because I'm really been thinking about this a lot. If you're one of my really close geek buddies, I've already discussed this with you to try and figure this out. Nothing will be more important in your life than your online reputation. Your online reputation will be so important to your life in 5 to 10 years that it will be more powerful than your credit score. It is possible, since data is being collected from everywhere, when you're on Google, when you're on Facebook, when you're on Yelp, when you're when you're on Google Pluses, I mean when you're on LinkedIn, when you're on all these social sites that you're becoming a part of, all these different apps that you're using, it's doing nothing but collecting data. Think of the data that they use to derive your credit score. It's really pretty shallow. I mean, have you been late on any of your bills? If you have been, okay, you get a little ixnay here. I know a lot of people that have never been late on their bills, but they have a terrible credit score. I know a lot of people that don't have a great credit score, and they haven't been late on their bills. So, I mean, it doesn't always go. How many times do we have insureds that have good credit, but maybe they had a medical hardship, so now it's ruined their insurance rate? That's really used to be a very good determining factor of who you were back in the day, but not today when we can collect data. All this stuff right now is being put into a bank, and it's being collected. And I even saw a couple weeks ago, I think it was www.reputationonline.com or myreputation.com. It was on TV. And they were like, you need to determine your reputation. Well, that really got me going because I've already been thinking about this. And there's so many different things out there. I ask you guys to challenge you to look at a place called TaskRabbit. TaskRabbit is where you can hire normal people to do everyday tasks. Well, depending on how much someone is paid on that site to do tasks is how good their reviews are. There's some guys on there that have like 5 rabbits. That's like their stars. And they have, 5,000 rabbits. It's how many jobs they've done and how well they've been placed. Those guys get paid $50,000, $60,000 a year to do their tasks, over all the tasks they do, as opposed to some guy who only has a couple rabbits. He's still doing the same amount of tasks, but he's getting far less per task. And it's being based off what the community is saying about how good that person is at doing that. Now think about that on a multiple layered scale. Think about how much I can tell about who Jason Cass is. Because keep in mind, Jason Cass can say whatever he wants. I can sit here right now and tell you that I'm in Hawaii doing this. But there's GPS on this camera that tells me, no, Jason's lying out his ASS because he's actually in the basement of his home right now in his video studio. That's because that data is now out there to allow us to say, is what Jason's saying is correct? Think of that on a multiple level scale. It's going to determine who you are. So don't hide from Facebook reviews or Google reviews. This is just the beginning. Joey, I want to turn that over to you for some thoughts.
I mean, I look at it this way. Imagine, when you meet somebody new, or when you have somebody that you kind of learn about online or wherever it is, even if it's your next door neighbor. I mean, and you go and put their name into Google, and you don't find anything. It's just like, what are you doing? I feel like the people that aren't concerned about building up. I mean, even if you are a teacher, look at what's happening in social media. the stuff that you're doing online is what people are, people are getting jobs based on the information that they're putting out there, the content they're creating. A bunch of people on
Yes.
Google Plus are getting picked up by marketing firms and PR firms to work for them because of the work that they're doing on these platforms. And the people, if they're not concerned about, one, what's not out there, but also what is out there, because if there's nothing out there, then it's crickets. And I don't want to, be one of those extremists that says if there's nothing online, then you don't exist. But it's something that, you should want to have something out there for people to know who you are. It just drives me nuts when people don't show up. There's nothing. Like, it's like I put their name in and then nothing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess back in the day, they used to drive around and like say, hey, where's JDC Insurance Group? And if they didn't find it, I wasn't real. Today, no one drives around and look for JDC Insurance Group. They're going online. So, I mean, it makes total sense. I can say all I want about being a railroad guy, but if I go online and they can't find anything else about me being in insurance or being in railroad, kind of poops that. So I agree. I agree emphatically with you there. It's already starting. It's getting ready. Now, here's the reason why this is most important. It's most important to agents more than any other industry. Well, maybe a handful that are in the same boat as us, but everything we do is based on our reputation. So if that becomes one of the most important things to be found online based on your reputation, and you need to have a reputation based on being found online, then don't just try to hide. See, this is another one of those factors that's going to determine 50% of the agents being gone soon.
Yeah, and I think one of the other things is I don't know if you do this. Like when I'm looking for somebody, if I can trust them or not, if they are legitimate. One, you look to see if they do have online presence of their own, but then you also look to other trusted sources that that you're familiar with, and if you see them, kind of cross-referenced or associated on those platforms, that's only going to then increase your level of trust or whatever association with that company. So, for example, if you Google my name and you're looking for to see if I'm a legitimate insurance guy, one, you're going to find my articles on the Grow program. So that's a whole site about doing insurance stuff, which is going to validate that I'm well established in the insurance community. You're going to find me on the Huffington Post, where I've written a handful of articles, which is a site everybody knows. You're going to find our own blog. You're going to find all of my social profiles. You're going to find all the different places. HubSpot will pop up, different places that I've written, different companies that are well known that you will find, and that's going to then say, oh, okay, I guess this guy, he's connected with other people that are legitimate that I know of. Right. I think that is an extension of this review conversation, kind of on the outskirts, but I think it's all what we're talking about. It's them finding validation in what you do.
Absolutely. And just the review, it is the beginning of this, Joey, because just because they're giving a review or they're not giving a review doesn't mean that they don't have an opinion. So the fact that they're giving a review is the first step for them saying and acknowledging it to the people. Keep in mind, all of our customers have a review of us right now. Every one of them has a review in their mind of us. It's just those that are taking it and making it known to everybody. So that's just the being in their head is step one. Telling it to the rest of the world, step two. Collecting all of what's being told to the world is step three. And then bringing it all into an algorithm that says, here's who Jason Cass is the final step. So each one of those steps is important. Now I want to kind of flip the conversation here as we start to wrap up over the next 10 to 15 minutes to let's start giving some actual practical use here of how we could put it in. We talked about rocket referrals. We've talked about sending out emails, or Josh mentioned that inside of the post. I believe in the emails. I have to tell you, I'm very bad at doing it. Here's how I do mine, and then Joey, I'm going to say how you ask for yours. How I do mine is whenever I'm writing a new piece of business, I'll ask the people. I always try to ask them, would you like my fan page? Would you check into my fan page, or would you write me a review? Now, what I need to get better at is doing the Google side of it, but I'm so big Facebook, that's what I think about all the time. And then I also am trying to get them to do a check-in. I don't know if I mentioned that. But I will always try to get them to do a review at that time. If they do, great. If they don't, no big deal. Also keep in mind, I will sometimes, and I've just started doing this over the last couple months, I'm trying to get them to do it as they make a change. Chris Paradiso says that every service opportunity is a sales opportunity, and I agree with him on that. But also, it's also an opportunity for you to reconnect, make sure we have all their contact information and all. But that's also a way for them, they're doing business with you. They see how easy you are to get a hold of. They just confirm that you traded or added the vehicle. So now this is a good proper time to get that review. And so that is one time I do it, and then I do it also besides the Rocket referral. I have to tell you, though, I've got a lot of work to do in this, too. I need to keep it more top of mind. I think that's why I personally like Rocket referral, because it just kind of does it for me. But I do need to massage that to probably make it a little bit better. Would you like to give any of your advice on how you do it, Joey?
Yeah, I don't have any system in place yet. That's kind of my dirty little secret. How I do it now is if I identify a client that I've feel like I've really earned my keep, if you will. I mean, I feel like I do that with everybody, but if there's something that I know is exceptional, then I'll just ask them directly, say, hey, can you write me a review here. Ultimately, what I'm in the process of building is a automated system where it's going to kind of go out to them throughout the course of time, and give them a couple choices. But to your point of I want them to, you listed like 3 or 4 things. I'm a big fan of, there's only so much that you're going to get them to do. There's only so much that they actually care about you for. And I would say it's probably 1, maybe 2 things that you're going to get out of them. And it's identifying which ones that you feel are most important, whether it's the review, whether it's the check-in, whether it's the, hey, come like me on Facebook, what's most important, and hit that with them first, and then kind of spread that out,
Right.
And that's, I think it's all comes back to email, and then copywriting to actually get that action. But one thing that I like to do, I've only done this a handful of times, but if I have somebody that is a small business owner or something that they're struggling, they say, hey, I found you online, I really like what you're doing, I like your content. Well, I'll offer to sit down for half hour or whatever and say, well, let's talk about this. Let's walk through what you want to do with your business. And then after I've kind of done that, it's like, well, hey, can you leave me a testimonial about my service within the business or whatever? Just kind of adding that extra value
Right.
is something that I've used in the past.
Okay. Reason I also think about reviews and check-ins also on Facebook that has a different thing, but it also happens to do with the engagement that you get. So, for instance, if I make a post on Facebook, I'm going to get 2, 5, 10, 15% of my fans to see it. If you do a check-in and you get your clients to check in, not only does that go to your check-in database, check-in bank, I guess I should say, for Facebook, they love people that are checking in. I mean, keep in mind that's other people telling Facebook that they like your place. Facebook will show that up to 70 to 80% of your fans if someone checks in. They'll show it to about the same percentage of reviews, but I've really no statistics on this, that you'll get more check-ins. So sometimes I like check-ins. I work out of my home, so it's kind of hard for me to get a check-in. But keep in mind, someone can check into your place from wherever they're at. So even if they call you on the phone and they say, hey, I want to make an auto or home change or whatever, or some kind of change, you can say to them, hey, if you have your mobile phone, when you get off the phone, would you click in and just at least check in to show that you were here? Because whether you weren't really, you actually are, because you're speaking to me. It's a different way and different spin to put on things. So it's just not so much building for the future and what other people can see, but it's also for a right now to get it out there. I honestly have to say that I think if any agent can take I would probably start with 10 clients. I would take 10 clients who I know just absolutely love me. I mean, they just think that I'm the greatest thing in the world. Joey, between you and I really only have like 1 or 2 of them.
I was going to give you 8. I thought.
8? 8? Joey, God, that's great. Thank you.
You got to butter up the host, I got to keep the gig.
Yeah, well, my goodness, thanks for believing in me, my friend. But no, seriously, find those 10 and send and put a personal phone call into them. And just say to them, hey, I just appreciate it. There's one thing you could do for me. I'd greatly appreciate it tonight when you're on Facebook or tonight when you're on Google. Or here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you an email, and it's going to have the links to the 2 places that you can go put a review.
I like the email sending the links. I think that's huge.
Yeah, it would mean a lot to me and my company if you could help me do that. And in the meantime, I'm going to go do the same thing to you. That would only seem nice and seem the right thing to do if they have a Facebook or they have a Google Plus page, or if they have a Google Play. I say Google Plus because that's where they give it a Google review. Okay, so I think that would be some very good tactics that you could use. I believe any of the tactics are going to use. It's going to be depending on who the person you're going to send it to. And I also have to, I'm going to say one more thing. It kind of goes back, it's kind of the elephant that no one wants to talk about in the room. But I think a reason why a lot of people don't ask for the reviews is because I think we all know deep down inside that we don't please everybody, and I think we don't realize that. I think we only probably please about 30–40% of our business, when I really think it's completely opposite. I think more people believe in you and believe in the job you're doing inside your agency than you think. Because as Joey just said a minute ago, usually something will happen where I've really gone out of my way, or something really special happened, or I saved them $15,000 at renewal, you know, and gave them better coverage. How come it's never hard for us to think of it then? How come it's always on our top of our mind then for us to say, hey, by the way, would you write us a review? But out the other times it's not. I think that's because subconsciously, I think we sometimes see ourselves as an insurance agent. People don't like us, and maybe they met with and talked with my assistant and she didn't say anything right. I think what we need to do is, it goes back to something totally unrelated to reviews, and to realize that what we do is actually a very good service and a very good thing for people in this world who don't understand insurance, don't want to understand insurance, but yet we do. So I think we need to give ourselves a pat more on the back and understand that what we do is actually powerful in affecting people's lives. And I think then it'll be easy to feel confident to ask for those reviews. Joey, I'd like for you to close this up.
If we can, I want to hit on really quickly the type of review. We didn't really get into that, and I think it's important.
Okay, good point.
I try and take the next 5 minutes or here. We'll just roll right through it. But we talked briefly before the show, and I think, you know, when I'm looking at, and think to yourself, you know, when you're buying something, whether it's on Amazon, whether it's on just a third, you know, somebody's website, whatever you're looking to buy, think about what you see from them and what actually works. You know, if I'm reading a review and it's just got a dude's name and it just says John Smith that lives on you know, Center Street, and no picture, no nothing, no link to his Facebook page or Twitter account, or I mean, I feel like I'm more likely to believe that you made that up than I am to think that that person actually gave it to you. Putting those things out there, you know, well, and this is, I guess, let me rephrase. This is more probably falls under testimonials, because these are the ones that you're going to pick and you're going to highlight, you know, on your website, because this is what, you know, we're ultimately doing this for. Is you know, we want to put these in front of people when they're considering, you know, us to buy, when we're putting them in through our funnel. Now, what we've kind of talked about so far is just them kind of passively finding us and doing their own research and discovering these reviews. I'm kind of talking about, well, when you're actually, you know, trying to get the best, you know, pull those good reviews out, or you want to highlight something, you're going to want to use something that is able to kind of connect that person to who they are somewhere online, and doing it and using stuff. And if you're making reviews up first, stop. Don't do that. That's not good. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you think that am I crazy when I think that?
No, you're not crazy at all when you think that. This is why I wanted you to be my host, man. You crack me up. You're like, well, if you're giving bad reviews, stop that. But no, you're you are right. I mean, yeah, you don't want to be giving fake reviews or any of that. That's like an absolute no-no. But sometimes people don't know, Joey. Joey and I had a discussion now, Joey, about this, and a little bit of a disagreement. But I have had reviews before that I mean, not a lot, but I will say paper reviews, when I used to actually get paper reviews back in the 2005, 6, 7, 8, before all this stuff, I would make the review myself. I would write the testimonial, not the review, the testimonial. I would write the testimonial out, and I would give it to the client in a Word document and say, hey, fix this any way that you want, or if you okay it, I'm going to use this. Some people don't like that, and that's fine that you don't like that. I'm not saying that you're wrong or right, but what I'm saying is I'm thinking through the customer's mind, and I'm thinking to themselves, some people don't want to stop and just take a second to write something out. Some people have no idea what to say. I mean, what are you going to say about your insurance agent? Like, oh yeah, man, you're always there when I call. Well, yeah, that would work, you know, but to them, maybe they don't think that. Some people are not good at writing, and so some people are not good at putting words together. I think I've been accused of that sometimes. But I think that it's kind of okay for us to be able to lay that out there for him. Now, you don't want it to be like, oh, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, keep it simple, keep it nice, keep it real. Once again, if you're reading it, is it going to sound real, or is it going to sound, you know, fake? So that's the way that I kind of think about that. I don't think it's bad, but you know, you need to encourage it from them the most you can.
Well, you need to eliminate as much friction as possible. It needs to be as easy for them to provide their true answers. But to me, if I'm going for the home run, if I'm going for something that I think is ultimately going to compel somebody to do business with me, I'm looking for them to give me something on video, somebody talking face name. It's unless
Ooh,
unless you decide to hire one of those fake doctors for one of those prescription medication commercials. I mean, it's pretty hard to spot if you're not doing this right. And I don't think that any one of us, listening to this is that silly to do something like that. But if you want a very easy, practical way to do this, and this is what I'm hopefully will be able to get into, is Google Hangout. Use a Google Hangout on air, a private Hangout on air, to get your client on the other end, record it, download it from YouTube, edit yourself out, and just pop their testimonial on your website. And that's definitely something that I'm going to be doing here very, very soon.
great idea, great idea. And I will tell you also that you can do a lot. Yes, that is a great idea. And we are running short on time, and I do apologize for do that. But video testimonials would be fantastic. I also, in the past, whether you like it or not, have ran contests to my friends and said, hey, if you really know who I am and you do business with me, write me a review, and I'll put you into a pot for $25 at the end of the month we're going to draw out. If you don't really know me, don't give me the review, but if you do, I'd appreciate it. It's just another little something that goes along with it. So whether it's real or not, I think you're going to get most of them are going to be real. Also, keep in mind, I ask you before we close this out to do your checking, because according to a lot of companies out there, the companies who actually get more on a 5-star review, their products that get anywhere between 3.8 to around 4.2 review, actually say they sell more products, because people know that there's no way anything could be perfect. But what they want to do is read through the reviews, and maybe it's a 4.2 review, but maybe that person who gave a review not of a 5 but a 4.2, it was because they didn't like the video camera of the phone or that they're buying. Well, maybe to me the video camera is not an issue, but if everything else is fine, I'm still going to buy the phone. So sometimes we have to realize that bad reviews always don't mean no business. It means it's a counterbalance to all the positive things that are out there. And as we know in the world, everything needs balance for it to be perfect. So this has been Jason Cass with The Grow Show. Actually, I apologize, it wasn't even on me. This is Jason Cass with The Grow Show. And this is
Joey Giangola, and I'm going to tell you to stop writing fake reviews.
Stop writing fake reviews. Fake reviews are never good. This has been Jason Cass with The Grow Show. Until next time, we'll be back in 2 weeks, 12 o'clock Central Time on Wednesday. Thanks.